Welcome back to And God Was Like, Alma's weekly Torah portion series. I'm your host, Ariel Kaplan. This week, I'm breaking down Parashat Vayishlach. Yalla, let's get into it. Chapter 32. Last we left Yaakov, he was on his way home, and his brother Esav knows, and he's ready and waiting for Yaakov with 400 soldiers. Yaakov has an absolute panic attack because he thinks Esav is going to kill his family. So he splits up his camp into two. He also sends Esav a shit ton of gifts to butter him up. Then Yaakov sends his family across the river. But Yaakov accidentally left his diary, so he has to go back to camp. And when he gets there, this random dude starts fighting Yaakov. Pow, 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 pow. Yaakov's in the lead, and Anonymous has no choice but to dislocate Yaakov's hip. That all you got, bro? Dude, come on, I'm gonna be late for my appointment. Can we wrap this up? I want a blessing. I like your style, kid. Now your name is Israel. What's your name? Excuse you, that's kind of personal. And then the random dude vanished. Plot twist, the A in Anonymous stands for angel. Yaakov's got this cool limp now from the fight. He returns home. And by the way, Yaakov's injury is the reason why Jews don't eat the thigh muscle on the socket of the hip. Chapter 33. Yaakov sees his brother Esav across the desert, and he lines his family up according to hotness, with Yaakov in front. The text says that only 11 of his kids were in the line, and a Midrash tells us Yaakov had locked his only daughter Dinah in a box, lest Esav marry her. Anyway, Yaakov bows 7 times before he reaches Esav. I think the rabbis say the bows are something about like being subservient to his older brother, but I think it's just because he had a limp and needed to take a break. The brothers hug and kiss. Esav tries to return all the gifts Yaakov had given him because he already has a lot of stuff. Definitely super awkward. They're both trying to be like really cordial to each other. Esav offers to walk the family back to Canaan, and Yaakov's like, fuck off, I got it. Yaakov swaggers over to a town called Shechem. Chapter 34. Dinah had just been locked in a box, and she's like, fuck this shit. I need a girls' day. I'm going to town. I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna dance. No one can stop me. She goes into town. Someone does stop her. It's Shechem. That's the name of the city, but it's also the name of a douchebag rapist. Shechem takes Dinah by force. He rapes her, tells Papa Hamor he must have Dinah as his wife. Hamor goes to Dinah's brothers. My son has been doodling in his notebook all day, Dinah and Shechem forever. Let me buy the girl for my son. You guys can marry my daughters too if you want. Marry our sister to a man with foreskin? The brothers tell Hamor that he's got to circumcise himself and all of the men in his town. And then, sure, Shechem can marry Dinah. Shechem wastes no time. He literally slices his dick off right then and there. He and his dad make an announcement in town square. Hey y'all, good news is Dinah's gonna marry Shechem. Bad news is we're all gonna have to circumcise ourselves. 3 days later, dicks are still healing from the circumcision. Dinah's brothers, Shimon and Levi, take the opportunity to kill all of the men in the city. And then the rest of the brothers come, they pillage, they plunder. Yaakov is so mad because now he's got enemies. He's got a lot of enemies. Shimon and Levi are like, I'm sorry, are we supposed to let our sister be treated like a whore? Quick note, unless it's consensual non-consent, rape is not in a sex worker's job description. Chapter 35. And God was like, hey Yaakov, by the way, totally water under the bridge. Remember when you said you would make me an altar at Bethel, but you didn't? Well, that's why Dinah got raped. Classic sexism in the Torah. Yaakov makes an altar. Good job, Yaakov. A+. Your name is Israel now. And my name is El Shaddai. And I want you to have sex without a condom. Because the land that I promised your grandfather Abraham, yada, 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 we get the deal. On their way to Ephrath, probably on a camel, Rachel goes into blood-curdling labor. Her midwife was like, don't worry, it's gonna be a boy. And Rachel was like, give me the goddamn epidural. Her dying wish was to name her son Ben-Oni, but Yaakov named him Benjamin. Meanwhile, Reuven has sex with Bilhah, aka Rachel's maidservant, aka his brother's mom, aka his father's concubine. And Yaakov finds out, but nothing really happens. Yet. Yaakov and Esav bury Yitzchak, who died at the age of 180. Chapter 36. This details Esav, aka Edom's lineage of villains. Shabbat shalom, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back next week.